Spoilers! Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers! Don't watch this video if you don't want to see spoilers. I mean, you don't want to hear spoilers, just spoilers, okay? Get this through your head, spoilers. Okay, good, let's talk about the movie. In the week, I reviewed like 4 other movies. And I'm really exhausted because I filmed all these back to back. I really didn't have a ton to talk about with those movies, so I'm glad I have something I have a ton to talk about, since there's a ton to discuss with the latest MCU movie. I'm so tired. Anyways, this one is the 28th MCU movie, which I will go way more in depth with this in a minute or so, but more on production info. This movie had a lot going on in it and behind it. I don't know everything about the production going on or going into this, but I know a few things. Not only is this a sequel to Doctor Strange, who at this point after his first film was in the Avengers movies, Thor Ragnarok and Spider-Man No Way Home, which was supposed to come out after this movie, and I'll explain more about this later, but it was pretty obvious to me when I heard they had to rewrite some scenes. I could tell by the way this movie ends, it would have made more sense for this to be out before No Way Home. But it's only on Spider-Man, so what can Marvel do? Well, they got the director of the original Spider-Man trilogy, which around the time I'm writing this review, the very first Spider-Man movie is 20 years old. Wow, to feel old in the 21st century. For some people, not me of course. Anyways, yeah, it's great to have Sam Raimi direct again. And while doing research, the director of the first film, Scott Derrickson, was the one who wanted to make the next movie feel like a horror film, but left due to creative differences that aren't concrete as far as I know. But he left on respectable terms, and he got to make his upcoming critical acclaimed horror film, The Black Phone. And who better to make a superhero film with horror elements than Sam Raimi, because if you've seen the Evil Dead movies, which for the record, I love the Evil Dead movies, he was the right choice because he's the reason this movie works. So everyone's happy. Anyways, while Sam Raimi directed this film, he didn't write it, and it was written by Michael Waldron, who created The Loki Show, and what problems I kind of had there are here too, but we should actually discuss the movie. Well, I have no idea how to talk about the movie without spoiling it, so if you missed it somehow before, spoilers, okay? So, with all that said, what's the movie about? Also, one last time, spoilers, okay? Please do not bad at me if I spoil something. I'm saying I'm gonna spoil the movie so I can talk about it. Sorry, I'm just sure one person might actually, who I know might say that to me. Anyways, okay, so what's the movie about? He starts off in a different universe, I think, where a different Doctor Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, is trying to protect this young teen named America Chavez, played by Zoe Gomez, who has the powers to travel the multiverse, but can't control it. So when demon monster things are after her, her Doctor Strange fails to protect her as she barely escapes. But was it all a dream? Oh, obviously no. Doctor Strange from the other movies, as in the one from the universe we see him, the Doctor Strange you know, I guess, wakes and gets ready for the wedding of his ex Christine, played by Rachel McAdams, who he had to leave because he has his duties to protect the Sanctum Sanctorum. I had to look it up if it was his duties as Doctor Strange or because of the snap, and it's the former. Yeah, I forgot. Anyways, he discovers a giant octopus demon going after Chavez, and he goes to save her with the help of Sorcerer Supreme Wong, played by Benedict Wong. So, to stop it. But now they have to figure out how to protect this kid and find out who's after her. Strange goes to see Wanda, played by Elizabeth Olsen, for help, only to figure out she's the one who's been sending the demons after Chavez, now being corrupted by the Scarlet Witch and becomes evil. I will get into this later, and wants to drain her power from her since Chavez can't control her powers and only seems to use it when she's at most scared. So at risk of killing her, she can take her powers and travel to a universe where she still has children. So Strange must protect Travis across the multiverse from the Scarlet Witch, or Wanda. But with the possibilities of the multiverse, will Strange discover something he should have never known about or thought at all? Oh, where do I begin? Well, let's talk about the worst part of the movie, the script. The movie isn't bad, far from it, but the story has so many problems with it. There are so many things I like about it, but there are so many problems. One of the things I liked most about it was Wanda being the bad guy, where at the end of WandaVision, I found her, redemption after mind controlling a town for a month wasn't really earned, and I know some other people think that too. So here, she's straight up the bad guy, and she's a real villain who isn't forgiven by the end. I mean, kind of because, she meant well, so, you kind of feel bad for her, I guess. I don't know. But she massacres people. She kills innocent people in the process, which, since it was a while ago since I saw WandaVision, I forget if it's because she used the Book of Evil. I'll explain this too, okay? Look, there's a lot to discuss. If that's why she's corrupted or being the Scarlet Witch, and this movie brings up the biggest problem, with not only this being the 28th MCU movie, with Wanda's character after the Disney Plus exclusive show in it. I read from Kevin Feige saying you didn't have to watch WandaVision to understand her here, and that's a big fat no. I mean, at least I guess he thinks you could, but no, you would be lost. And if you watch the other MCU movies, which is given by this point, you wouldn't understand her from going from a troubled, well-meaning hero to a villain with selfish intentions, lying to herself. It's for the best. It's kind of out of nowhere if you didn't see WandaVision. We are at a point you have to see everything Marvel-related to understand everything else coming out of the MCU. Granted, you don't have to watch Inhumans to understand Black Bolt's cameo, so at least I'm thankful for that. But back to the story. I like what they did with Wanda. It was hard for her to take this turn, and it is a big risk to turn a likable character into an evil villain, where I won't give away her fate at least, but her conclusion was I presumed it would be, since the MCU would have to figure out what's left to do with her afterwards. Okay, maybe that give away what was going to happen. Anyways, well, so what else is there to talk about? I mean, there's a ton to discuss about, so... Well, I mean, okay. Well, in the multiverse of characters on the roster... Sure, let's talk about the Illuminati scene. So yes, in one universe, Strange and Chavez go to, which is the only one of two Strange travels to. More on this also later. Okay, there's a ton to discuss. Give me a break. Strange is put on trial by the Illuminati, which they are really hoping you recreate your joy for Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah, I know it's just said this movie was supposed to come out before Spider-Man No Way Home, but I just mean as an example. Where the theater would applaud for these characters' return. Even by playing the music from the cartoon that was popular with this character in it, but it was revealed in the trailer it was Professor X, so why would people be surprised like, Professor X, that's Patrick Stewart! And yes, it's cool they got Patrick Stewart back, but the gap isn't big enough for it to feel like, you know, that long ago. Yet they do a build-up for no reason, where all the other cameo characters on the Illuminati are all introduced, and he only shows up later, so people will be like, he's back! Patrick Stewart's back! I'm gonna lose it! When I think more people would be excited for John Krasinski as Reed Richards, since considering that wasn't spoiled ahead of time. I mean, I'm sure some people guessed, but I remember people seeing this orange firepower character in the trailer and everyone theorized it was a big character as well, when it just looked like Captain Marvel to me, and I was like, you know, maybe if this many people are wondering, maybe it won't just be Captain Marvel, maybe it would be some big character. Like, no, it was Captain Marvel. Wish I said that ahead of time. It could have proved people wrong about this disappointing idea. Anyways, yeah, they are a couple of other people who make cameos, and it's neat, but I did love how Wanda massacred them. She uses their powers against them in brutal ways. Like, cutting Captain Gar in half with the shield is just one example. She's a real terrifying villain. So, what about our heroes, though, in the story? Cumberbatch is great. He's got his character down, being both wise, arrogant, and charismatic. Like, he knows how to be in control of the situation, but not capable of doing everything he can in a situation. Which is kind of like Fantastic Beasts 3 I saw this year, where I'm just confused by his or Wanda's limitations of magic powers, so I don't fully understand always if there's something else either can do to get what goals they're after. Ignoring that, the weakest character of the film, though, is Chavez, who I don't know what she's like in the comics. I do vaguely remember when Channel Surfing one day she was in a cartoon I saw, and where she I think was an alien. I don't remember. I don't care to look up because that's not the point I'm making. She was a lot more of a tough girl, and here she's a weak kid who can't control her powers. And what was easily the worst scene in the movie was that she's able to, after Strange gives her a speech about being brave or something, and that's it. She can just control her powers now. If she had to unlock it somehow, or circumstances might have been different, I would accept that. But she listens to a speech about confidence, about her, and with the movie revolving around her powers, it bothers me it's that simple, where we could have given the same speech earlier, and it would have made no difference. Of course, if it was earlier, then there'd be no movie. If it was a mentor-student relationship with Strange teaching her, maybe, but no, she can just control it. But the other problem is that she's bland. A scared kid with one speech about being brave given to her, and that's her character. She's given a backstory where the first time she used her powers by accident, she sends her parents to a different universe. And I can't help but think, why wasn't that the movie? She wants to find them. Her powers had unintentional consequences, and Strange was the guide across a dangerous multiverse for her to find them. I think that is enough. The script has problems, and there's look, the script has problems, and there's one other thing I will get into at the end of this about the story to discuss. But I'll say later, because right now I want to ask what else about the movie works outside of the script. The movie is incredible to look at. I was a little underwhelmed where obviously movies that don't come out at the same time were made at the beginning to compete. But the other Multiverse movie I saw prior to this year was Everything Everywhere All at Once. And if Doctor Strange 2 came out last year before the other movie did, I wouldn't have to compare to me, I wish this movie was more like that movie where it truly felt like a multiverse of madness. Because in that film, it was a multiverse of madness. There was no, like, just a couple universes they traveled to. It really felt like you were in millions of universes at once. And here it's like 3 to 4 worlds. But the worlds in this movie are imaginative, as in the 2, universes you see. But I like looking at them. It leaves a lot for the imagination without overstaying its welcome. But for a movie called Multiverse of Madness, I wish it was madder, but those movies are about 2 different things. Where the other movie is about how certain choices make new realities, here it's just different realities. Some people are completely different, some are the same, and sure, I wish it was more like the Sean trailer where he goes across the multiverse, and was even like in the movie, were we paid in that one? But it's a fun movie, and that's what these movies are made for. Entertainment. What doesn't work here isn't terrible. It could have been better since there are a lot of things that confuse me. Especially the Dark World, or what I like to just call it, the Book of Evil. Like, I just call it the Book of Evil because they over-explain what it is when it's just a book you read to gain power but risk being evil. Which confuses me since I couldn't remember if Wanda being the Scarlet Witch or reading the book made her evil. But there's a scene where Strange talks to an evil Strange, which isn't the one for the What If show most people presumed from the first trailer, but it leads to a great climax where Strange has to take over the corpse of a dead Doctor Strange that Chavez brought to prove Strange and Wanda she was from another universe, and has to fight back against literal inner demons to stop Wanda. It was slightly scary, bonkers, and enjoyable. The movie isn't perfect though. I had a ton of problems. I could see a better movie in my head. And it would have been better if it came out before No Way Home, since it ends with Strange gaining multiverse tampering powers, which I'm pretty sure since he has the amulet necklace, whatever it's called, that doesn't work anymore, he can still tamper with the universe at the end of the film with this third eye thing. And I can remember if he had multiverse tampering powers in No Way Home. So if this was rewritten to take place after that movie, the ending indicates that it was supposed to be before the other movie. So he has the power to do what he does in that movie at the end of this movie, so he can do what he does in that movie. Oh my god, my head hurts. Anyways, yeah, I also wish it took more advantage of its content, since, like Loki, it is teasing that it is about Loki in the multiverse. And while you do kind of see cool lanes, you don't go across the multiverse, really. You see other versions of Loki, but not the different universes. But the characters are great. I love the risk taken, the direction by Sam Raimi, the music score by Danny Elfman was fantastic. The acting is great from Cumberbatch and Olsen. The movie is entertaining. It's not one of the best MCU films. And once again, being number 28, it's getting to a point where it's not fun anymore to catch up when you pretty much need to watch the 9-hour-long TV show to understand one major character's motivation in the movie. But ignoring that, I had a good time. I didn't leave the movie with madness. I left it with a smile on my face. Yeah, that was the best joke I could come up with. But yeah, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is good. I said all of that, and yeah, this is the sentence I ended on, so... I give Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness a 7.5 out of 10.